Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. So in today's video we are breaking down a multi-step form. Multi-step form is one of the most complex concepts when it comes to handling forms, both on the client side and the server side, because it comes with a lot of work. First of all, you have to do error handling. You have to extract data from all the whichever step forms you have. If you have 5 steps, you have to extract the data from all the 5 steps. You have to handle the validations. You have to handle the state. When someone goes to a previous step, you have to save that data at the end of the day to the database or send it to the API. And these forms are not only handled client side, you can also do server side handling. We looked at the difference between the client side handling of multi-step forms and the server side handling of multi-step forms. We also went or continued and did not use the Zustand that you are familiar with, or Redux, which is really complex. I've used a very simple state management. It is a new one, but it is the most easiest way of handling forms. After watching this video, you are not going to use Zustand anymore. After seeing how Simple Store handles everything, it is more simpler than Jotai. It is more easy to use than Zustand, and it is even more light. So it is really the best to use in the state management so far. We also went ahead and after doing the multi-step form, we saved the data in the Prisma Postgres, and we're using Prisma 7 with Next.js 16. So we're just really doing something that is very much latest. So let me show you the demo of what we actually did. So first of all, this is a database that is having all the submissions. I have only 2 submissions, and this is the application that is deployed. Just going to use the deployed one so you can see that this is actually deployed online, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and add some data. So I'm just going to add this name. I want you to remember this name, the Veda Wilkerson. I'm just going to add this number. Let me just add any number here. So if you just don't put anything in here and you try to submit, you can see the validations are actually working fine. Okay, the validations are working fine. If you remove the email, and you can see that the validations are really working on spot. And we have also the state already working, because you can see that this has moved from the first dot to the second dot, and now we have previous and we have the next, and you can just go. So I'm just going to quickly fill in the form because the form is really huge. I'm just going to be filling in really fast. Okay, so just next, I'm just going to go ahead, and so we have all forms of the data, selecting single, others are selecting an array. So we have really nice stuff. I'm just going to go here, and since this is hosted, you can just go ahead and fill it. I just was making this one for the Desktop Online. If you don't know Desktop Online, those ones who are doing it in the WhatsApp group, they understand the Desktop Online team. So this one is going to be an assessment that you're going to be filling before doing it. So, but you can see that the form is now nice. I'm just going to go here, just do this, and let's say thank you. Okay, thank you, like this, and this is just go ahead and submit. So if you submit, this takes in some time, and you can see that you come to the thank you page, which is actually the last step here. And if we just go to the database, and I'm just going to go ahead and refresh, actually just refresh here, and on the submission you see that we have this third submission. If I just look for the first name, which was Veda Wilkerson, as you can see here. So this is really good. We learned a lot of concepts, and most importantly, we learned about using Simple Store. Simple Store, I've never seen the any state management that is as easy as Simple Store. Look at the whole entire code for the whole for storing the steps and for storing the user data. We even went ahead and added it in terms of, to complicate it, we added it even in terms of each step has its own data, and this is so nice how it selects each individual store. Like you can go in the store and select only to get updates only on the step 1, and you'll be only selecting updates instead of getting the whole entire store. You can select only this, which makes the app to be fast and even to be more efficient. Like simple store is life changing, and that's what we covered in today's video. So if you just like you're interested, let's get started. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. So in today's video we are looking at multi-step forms, and if there is one concept that all full stack developers or backend developers that you have to get familiar with, is the concept of forms. Every web application that is on the internet has, in one way or the other, has to end up with a form, whether it is a chatbot or it is an e-commerce. At the end of the day, we are going to deal with forms, and knowing how to handle forms is one crucial, important full stack role that you need to understand. Now, as forms, we like building them as developers. It is one of the most hard thing that users find really hard to deal with. Most users don't like big forms, long forms, or even the forms that take forever. And so the user experience with forms on most of the website on internet is really bad. If you have been on internet and you have been filling some forms, you know how terrible the experience is when you're dealing with forms. Either they are too long, you find the form, you scroll forever, or after you have filled the form, when it is too long and you submit, it gives you some error and all the data you had filled in got lost, and you are back to zero, and you just want to give up and try some other options. So today we're going to look at a most common concept that is always used in a form, which is a multi-step. Instead of just making one form be a very huge form, instead you look at a very tiny. Let me just maybe use this one. I'm also just going to go ahead and use I'm just going to go ahead and use, so you can see this is a multi-step form of one format, and I'm just going to open another one that I have here. I think this is the one I'm just going to use. Just going to paste it here. Okay, so there is also this form here. Can I just see it? Yeah, there is this form here also, as you can see it here. Very simple, and you simply feed in, you get started, and then you keep on moving. So this is just like one example of a multi-step form. It gives a better user experience. Instead of putting all the things in front of the user, you better ask a few questions, and this becomes a better user experience with large forms. And we can't avoid large forms because sometimes they are necessary. As you can see, when you're applying, like for example, for a passport, or you're applying for, registering for different programs, you'll find yourself having a very huge form. So as a developer, knowing how to handle a really huge form and convert it into a multi-step form, it is always very crucial. So the multi-step forms are, I'm just going to categorize them into two types, or into two categories. The first category is the ones which are handled fully 100% client-side handling, and others are done on the server-side handling. For example, if I look at this form, this is a client-side handled form. This one, the way you see here, step by step, this one is a client-side. While when you look at this one, this is going to be a server-side. And how do I differentiate the two, or when to use what? I'm going to explain. But let's dive into, for example, the client-side handling of the multi-step form. This MSF is multi-step form, and the SM is also a simple, let me say, gather all the data from. So in the client side handling of the multi-step forms, this is where we gather the data from all steps. First using a statement. This is a statement management state. It's a state management, just like this. So we gather all the data from all the steps. First using the state management. So in this form here, you first fill in the form. You go filling in. You can just go ahead and you fill in here, and then you continue. You continue moving on, gathering all the information, and all this information that we are filling in is going to be actually stored in a multi step. So you can just come here and you choose this, and then you continue and enter your email, blah blah, like that. So this information, you can see, is not yet saved in database. Right now all of it is saved on the client side in the browser, as it is waiting to be sent to the database. After that kind of handling of forms is what you call client side handling of the form. And then we have server side handling of the multi-step form. This is where we gather data from a single step, and we save it to the database, and then we continue to the next step. For example, here, as you can see, save and continue. So these kind of applications, or these ones, is where we gather information on this page. We save it before we go to the next page. And this is to avoid problems when a form is huge, you have reached on step 6, and for some reason there is a problem. Now it means you have lost all the data in all the previous steps, but saving it right away in database, it means you can access and resume the application at any time, in any other computer, in any place. That's why when you go to this page, if I try to refresh, if I try to refresh, you can see that they have continue application. You can receive the saved application. You can also check your application status and other things. But the most big thing with it is that you can resume the application at any time. Whereas this one, you might have to do it. Okay? So it is always going to be a trade-off, because this, you are risking, if you're just like saving data to the database, you are risking, if this person, for example, is not serious and he was just not like, he was just trying out, it means going to fill your database with maybe trash or the information that you don't want. And now, but for this one, this data is saved on the client side until they finish the whole information. So it is something you have to compare and contrast. And even the implementation, they have different complexities. So we're just going to walk in one by one. In today's video, I'm just going to walk you in the one for the client side. And if you want me to walk you in the one for the server side, this one, where we're actually building a clone for this passport application, please go ahead and comment in the comment section. If and like the video, just to push this video. If people like it and they want me to create that one, I will just go ahead and create for you the one for the server side, where we're just going to be cloning this passport application. But for now, I'm just going to look I'm just going to use this one, which is actually the most common one in most of the applications you're going to find online. Most of them, they use this client side, but for the government or the application which are mature and you want to really give a better user experience, they use server side. So we can actually learn how to do both of them, but today let's start with this one. Now I have already done a video previously. If you go to my YouTube channel, just going to go there right now. I'm just going to search a multi-step form here. Just search multi-step, just like this. you will see a multi-step form about 1 year ago, and people liked this video because it was also covering, and in this case I'd used Redux, okay, and Next.js, and people were just like really asking about Redux. Redux is a bit complex, and if you're still interested in Redux and TypeScript, is what I covered in this video. But in this video, we're going to use even a more simpler one. I know we have been using Zoostand, and Zoostand is really nice. But after seeing what Simple Store does and how it is nice, you might not actually ever go back to Zoostand. It is really simple and it is easy to use and gets the job done. I like it. And it is very light in how it is done. So I switched to now to using Simple Store in most of my applications now. Yeah, so yes, we're going to start, and we're going to go and start from scratch because I wanted to actually save this information finally in the database, because in this video we did not do actually in database. We're doing things in the client side, and that's it. But I want just to go ahead and save this data in the database. That's why I wanted to use Prisma and Postgres to be able to add this information in the database. Now, if you want to follow along, the first thing is that by the time I recorded this video, Prisma had released Prisma 7 with Postgres, and I first created the video before I went into this one. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can just search for this video of Next.js and Prisma 7. In fact, I think you can just search here, because by the time you watch this video, maybe it is not here. Okay? Because you can see this is 52 minutes ago. So I could just say Prisma 7, just like this. This should just like bring this video here, and you just simply click in this. Now I request that it would be better if you first went and watched this video before you proceed to this video, because some of the concepts you are going to use in this video, okay, please give it a like, just like that. And you can just always just go ahead and comment, okay? So with that, it would be better if you first watch this video. If you are already having Prisma 7 and you're already using it, then we can just proceed with the video, because I'm just going to use the repository that we made into this video. Basically, we created the Next.js project and we added Prisma 7 and we connected it. You can just grab the starter kit, which is just actually save the source code. Click on this, what I'm just going to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and clone this. I'm just going to copy here, just like this. Go in this. Let me open this in. I'm just going to open this. Let me first close this one. I'm just going to open the terminal, just like this. And let's say git clone. Let me just close this also. Let's say git clone. Just going to put this, and let's call this one next mart step. Next mart step, just like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and cd into this, and just say code dot -r, and let's go ahead and install the dependencies. So if you look at this, this is just a simple Next.js 16 app, npm install. Let's just go ahead and show you. It's just basically a Next.js 16 application. If you check in the package JSON, we are having Next.js 16, okay, and the only difference that is on it is that it has already a Prisma integration with it. So just simply add a .env and add database, and everything is going to be okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to. Seems like we have an error right here. Oh, okay. I think just like trying to do a Prisma generate, and it found that we don't have the .env. I'm just going to go ahead and create this .env, Now to get database URL, you can get database URL from, you know, very many places. Others can go to Neon, others can go to Prisma Postgres. I'm going to show you both. So you can just go to Neon. So you just go here and you just say Neon and sign up for Neon, and just go ahead and just go into projects and just create a new project. Okay, you can just go ahead and create a new project and you will get a database URL, or you can just also go to Prisma Postgres. So you can just come here and you say Prisma Postgres like this, and you can just go ahead and get started or log in to your Prisma Postgres. And you can also go ahead and create a new project using Prisma Postgres. I already have here full projects here, so I'm just going to use the existing one that I have, that I used in this next Prisma here. So I will use this one. For you, just go ahead and create any here, either here or in the Neon. That would get the job done. So I'm just going to go ahead and put mine, which I just saved here for now. Just go ahead and add it here like this. Okay, just going to go ahead and clear this. Okay, so what we can do right now, my database already has some data in it. Okay, for you it is going to be very new. So what you can just do is npx. Remember, in the schema we only have one, which is this category. So you can just run npx prisma db push like this to make sure that your schema and your database are in sync. Okay, and then after that we're going to generate a Prisma client. Yep, so the database is already in sync, so even yours should tell you that. I'm just going to clear, and I'm just going to run npx prisma generate, just like this. This will just go ahead and generate a new Prisma client. So if I run this application, I can say pnpm dev. This will just like open this on localhost 3000. And if you just go on localhost 3000, this is a simple application, but it should be working actually. So I'm just going to go here and say localhost 3000. Hello, welcome to today's video. So in today's video, we're going to look at okay, so this is how the application looks like. You can just go ahead and add a new category. We're not going to mind about this, we're going to change it, but you can just say add maybe YouTube. Yeah, so this is what it is doing. I'm just going to go ahead and add in anything here, and you can see this saves. Okay, so yeah, you can just go ahead and do like we already have this working. So basically what I want is to add my multi-step form here instead of this one. Okay, so I can just go to the here on the page. You can just go ahead and remove everything here, just like this. Okay, and then I can just put h2 here, which says welcome to multi-step form. And I can also just remove these categories, remove the image and all these things here. So if you just go back, this has welcome to multi-step form. So the multi-step form we are going to be designing is this one, and I also have the data that I just want to be doing, sort of like the information I'm just going to be correcting. Okay, so maybe on the home page I will just have where is my home page? Yeah, this is the home page. Maybe I'm just going to be either you could just put it on the home page itself, or you can just take it, you just leave it on the home page for simplicity. So there are so many approaches to building also. So we looked at the categories, but then let's talk about the approaches. Okay, so normally on the multi-step form, there are things which are changing and others are not changing. For example, when you look at the layout, let's say like this logo, and maybe there is this text and all these things down here. So you can see like this logo is there, but there is this text that is changing. As I just like move down, you look at this text is changing. The questions are also changing, but you may find you have these things which are surrounding and they are not actually changing. Okay, and you have these also, like you have these progress, which one is going to be active. So you can see here which indicates which step you are on. Like you can find this is step 2, and yes, this is step 1. And you can see from down here, you can look at how many steps are there, and this can tell you which step is active or not active. So now, does this mean that this part here that is changing is a new page or it is a new component? Depending on what you want to use, you can either make each of these individual forms sit in a page, or you can just make this as simple as a component. Okay, so I'm just going to design based actually on this. Okay, I'm just going to design based on this so that it's just like easy for us. So if you look at the things which are just like not changing, we can just like design the form to be in here, or these buttons to be on top, depending on what you want. But we can just like design this to look like this. And the design part is, these days people have become so lazy in trying to, to design or wanting to improve themselves while building these things. But today, I'm not going to use much of the AI. I just want us to do following documentations and not doing any AI. Just for the beginners, because I know most of this video is going to be watched by beginners. So I'm just going to keep it more realistic to them. So if you look at this, page, I wish you could just like made onboarding full page. I think this is its page, or I would want okay, yes, like say open live site. Yes, this is what I wanted. Okay, so I'm just going to add, like for example, we have a banner, and if you look at that banner, is also not fixed, like this is movable. So we have a banner at the top, then we have the side, and as you go to the next pages, okay, like here as the banner is actually stick, this remains there, and this is changing, okay, with each step. You can also decide to make it change, or you can leave it. So I just want to first design it as a layout. So you have to understand which things are changing and other things are fixed. So for example, we can add the banner. And for the gradients, we could I'm just going to go ahead and yeah, so I'm just going to make this background to be gradient, and I was going to say that for gradients, you could just go to my blog post here. So if you just go to jb.desktop.com/blogs, you can find some nice gradient to use, and the buttons. The setup is very easy. Since you're already using Tailwind, the only thing to do is let's add this utility here. Just going to add this utility. in my global.css, scroll down here, and you can just go ahead and paste this. Then you can start using it. Just create one component, which is gradient background. So this is just a reusable background that has a lot of variants. So in the components UI, you can just create gradient background .tsx, just like this. And for the buttons, you can also add the buttons. I'm just going to go here. As you can see how it works is we can just go here and we simply say gradient like this. Let's go to home page and let's paste this here. Let's import the gradient background like this, and if you just go back, you see that you have a nice gradient background, and you can just like put your content there. Another thing, if you want for the buttons, we can just add the button. So you can see also you can remove this. We'll see how to customize this in a second, but I just add the button. So just add for the button, which is already here. So replace it with this one, and that's it. So you can start now using the button the way you want. It has a lot of variants, and you can just use the way you want. For example, we can just go back on the page, and then here we could just add the button. So you say button, just like this, and you can see here gradient, and let's go ahead and add a variant of. So you can see you have now a lot of variants, and you can just go ahead and choose gradient. As simple as that, you have a gradient button just like this. Yeah, so I created this to spice up your backgrounds. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this, add a class name here, and you can just say min height screen, and then you can just go ahead, what else you can also, so if we just add min height, it fills the whole entire screen. And if you want, you can just like take off, we can just go ahead and take off the grid. So if I say grid to false, you can just like take off the grid, and you have like just a clean background. If you want also, you can just reduce the, so if you just do this, you can see you can choose, reduce the bright intensity maybe to something like 2XL or something. Is it, let's say this, yeah. So you could just choose on these, like you say XL to reduce the intensity, or you can just go ahead and leave it the way it was, like so. Okay, so this is a good start. I'm just going to go ahead and start building our form. So I have this on the bottom, on the top. So I just want to go ahead and add maybe this here. Can I just add it as position fixed? So for that one, I just going to create in components. Let's just create a banner. So that one is always telling me how do I learn Tailwind, and this is how you learn it, by just doing some of these concepts and not jumping them. So some people have difficulties actually doing no more coding, like building these components on their own, which is becoming a bit worrying. So they can just say, for example, this, we can just give it a class name, and let's give it position fixed. So you could just say fixed actually, and you can just say top 0, and maybe just also give it like right 0, not ring but right 0, like that. And let's give it a bit of width. Sorry, so you could just say width full, and in here let's also give it a padding of maybe 6 or even 4. And then here we can just like add anything we want. Like for example, we are releasing some courses, so I'm just going to go to my blog here, just going to maybe add a course like this one, the 30-day join us for this kind of course. I'm just going to go here and just put like h2, says join us for this exclusive course, okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and just add an anch tag, add this href, and just say this is the NHPC course. Okay, just like this. Now if you just bring this banner in the layout, so just go here and add this in the layout. So these should just like be fixed on all pages. Just going to go ahead. Maybe also let's see, top fixed, top 0 0. Just need to do this. I'm just going to go to the layout once again. I'm not seeing anything. Maybe is it doing positioning like Z index of like 50? Not sure if this has to do with, yeah. So this had to do with Z index. So you can also just give this a bg maybe of, you know, this, yeah. And let's go ahead and say flex. Actually you could just like say grid, and then you say press content center like this, yeah. And maybe you could just actually make the whole entire thing clickable. So I'm just going to make this an anch tag. Okay, just cut this to this. Yeah, so just like make the whole entire thing clickable. And I just want to change also the font. I just want to change the font, and I just go to let's say Next.js fonts. You know, even may just want to I enjoy doing these things, not to forget them. Like you may find like the fonts changed a long time, how we do them, and you know, you have spent a lot of time without actually seeing how this is done. So make sure you are on Next.js latest version, and you can see like we use it from Google, and then we define it here, and then we use it here. So just going to try to use that in the layout. So the one I want to use is called, I think, I'm just going to move these ones, and I want to use honest, and we can just come here and say honest, and what I just want to go ahead and put is going to be the weight. I'm just going to go ahead and put like 400, and I'm just going to call this honest. I don't want the mono. I'm just going to go ahead and we saw that here we just simply put two things, class name. Okay, and just going to go back here, which is honest dot class name. I'm just going to change also this is a merge state form. Okay, let's go back and see if this changed. Yeah, it actually just changed. I'm also just going to go ahead and on the banner, I'm just going to actually bold this. Let's give this a class name, and just say maybe font board. Yeah, and that is fixed. So you just go on the side. So on the side we have, by the way, we could just also just say target. I'm just going to say target underscore blank, just like that. Okay, so for the banner, this looks good. I'm just going to now concentrate on the parts that we have below here. So we have this part here, and then just going to have also the part that connects this other part. So just going to use, I think we can just use a grid. I'm just going to go now back to the home page. Okay, so we could just like go inside here. We have a container and blah blah. So I'm just going to remove this. So this is where I'm just going to put my my grid. Okay, and I'm just going to say we make there is this thing of making the grid, you specify the width. So if I just go to Tailwind, like I don't remember what was the last time I went to this website. So I'm just going to go here and just say grid. There is where we have the grid something, like I don't know. Let me just first go ahead and see. You could just give grid columns, grid rows. So there is why you can just actually do something like this. You define the grid and you give the values like that. Not sure if this is the example I was looking for, like to do this. So you can say syntax set the rows based on a completely custom value. But for now, I'm just going to use, not complicate it for sure, guys. Let me just say grid. So we could just say grid, and we say grid cores 12, and then in the first one we just give this a grid core span. So you just use the grid core span core. That's how they. It is grid. No, I think it's just like with core span. How is this done? Cores span. So we have the call span. Let's just say this one call span 3, and this one does call span 9. And that means like here we could just go ahead and just say this is the one in BG. Let's say blue 950, and just say H2 side. And then here I'm just going to go ahead and just say put H2 the form. Let's go back here. So this is how it looks like. So since we want this to fit in the whole entire page, we could just actually remove this container and also this px, and this will just actually reach on the side like this. And if you want also maybe for the padding top, I'm not so certain if we should leave it or not, but this looks good. I'm just going to go here and add padding of maybe 6, let's say rounded. Okay, let's say rounded XL, just like this, with some padding. Maybe that's roundness is big. Okay, so this is why I just like leave the container here. Yeah, to push it a little bit, which is still okay. And I can also just give this a mean height of screen like this. And then let's say go ahead and give a gap. Let's say a gap of 8. Now we have the form. Let's also go ahead and in this form we give padding of 8, just like this. So at least we have something here. So this is how we want our form to look like. So to first get the whole concept of the form, we have actually the form we're just like using here as example. Is that we have this logo here. In this case, we're just going to create the one for this is hub. Maybe I'm just going to create in the components, I'm just going to create the logo text. Just logo.tsx rfc. So I'm just going to simply pass in the h2. I'm just going to say maybe why don't I use the typography, so you can just go to shard. I'm just going to go ahead and search for typography. Just going to look for the bold text like this one. So this is H1. And just go down here. I'm just going to go here and add this. I'm just going to call this one this sub online. Okay. Actually, just like leave it instead of putting this redundant div. Now we can actually pass in a class name. So I'm just going to say here you can pass in a class name, which is going to be class name. Let's just say this is going to be a string for simplicity. But there is also like I think React CSS properties or something. Okay, for now I just like use the string, and then I can just go ahead and get it here, use cn, and just simply pass in this comma, and then I'm just going to go ahead and pass in the class name. just like this. Now for now the text is going to be, if I bring in the logo text, if I just go back to the page and let's say aside here, we're just going to have logo. What did we call this? Okay, export default logo. This has to be capital. We could just even make it like a logo text, but I just leave it as logo. So so this should be not required, so just going to make it this. So you just come here right now, we have this is online. Maybe we just reduce it and pass in the color of white. So I'm just going to go to page and you can just pass in the class name. I'm just going to have text white, and for now let's just make it 3. Yeah, so like this. I'm just going to go ahead and go back to page. So according to how this form is designed, so there is this, has a nice padding on here, has a bottom line, which actually still here there is, I don't know how they call this, divide. They have like a divide or something, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there is like a divide somewhere, but or separator. Yeah, so I think there is a separator like that. So we could just use a separator like so. So you could just say, let's add a separator here, p npm dlx shared cn latest add separator. Okay, so the command, I must have gotten it wrong. Let me just go to where it is, installation, the spelling of it. Okay, and the usage, you simply specify the separator. So we can just first go in here where we have this. So down here you can just add this separator. Just say separator, and you can just wrap this in a padding of y of, let's say, 6, like so. And maybe the separator, I'm not sure if you can give it a class name of text, maybe white. I'm not seeing anything, even a dark one, I'm not seeing it, so I'm not sure. why you're not seeing any separator right now. Let's see. Just going to say margin y of 4. Okay, I'm not seeing let me first maybe remove this bg. It might be there and I cannot notice it. I don't think it is there unless it needs a z index. For now, just concentrate on this. So we have also the text below it. So you can see I could just create my own separator instead. You can see here. So you could just say RFC. Oh, I imported it in from a wrong place, I guess. I think, yep. Okay. Yeah. It is more white, maybe text blue. So the class name seems not to be working. Okay, I just say bg red. Yeah. So you can just say bg, let's say blue, maybe 800 to give it a more dark one or something. And let's also add here the padding y of maybe 6. So then you're just going to add some text that maybe is going to be actually changing. So if you look at this, like you're going to have like a quote or an explanation or whatever you just want to actually add. Okay, in the first place there is another text, but it's just like a different altogether of what they are putting in here. But I'm just going to be putting in like a text. Okay, I can just go ahead and put in like here a p tag. Okay, I can just say text muted foreground. Okay, maybe we make it a little bit text gray of 300, just like this. Okay, that looks done. Just need to work on this side of the form, and this side of the form we just need a simple form with simply title, description, and the form, and then the button. So this is where I'm just going to have my forms. So I'm just going to have here, I'm just going to have the steps folder, and each step is going to have a form. So I'm just going to have, for example, I will just say step 1 .tsx. I don't know if we just like have them like this, step 1 .tsx rfc like step 1. So you could just go in and just say this is step 1, and you can just duplicate this to step 2, step 2, and you just come here and say step 2 until we finish them. Okay, so with that, we just need now to have the form. So within the steps, outside, I could just have the form, just like this, .tsx rfc, and you can just say have, like, let's say, just going to call it onboarding form, right? And let's say right now, I'm just going to, in this, I could just have dot padding y of 6. Now you can just add the logo, and then below here I can just say step 1, for example. We could just also, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. So let's take this onboarding form to here, to where we have this form here. I'm just going to go ahead and put onboarding form. So you can just see we already have some padding, and let me just see how this looks like. Okay, so you have some text. This is Hub Online, and then we have the step number 1, which is going to be actually the form. Since we have this one, maybe I leave out this one, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, but the good thing is it's very easy to leave out by just simply taking off that. And now we have the step 1, and it's going to be the form. Now for the form, it depends how complex you want to complicate it. But you can just go to shadcn, and then you just type in form. You know, it has been also changing over time. So you can see forms now. There is for one for React Hook form and the one for TurnStack form. The difference is they are all using Zod. The only thing is the way they validate, but they all give the same thing. So if you click on the one for example, the one for Zod, so this is the one using React Hook form. So they give you just something very simple like this, and yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to use this one and see how it's going to go. So just simply come down here. I'm just going to copy this. Okay, I'm just going to go copy this and just go in step 1 and paste everything here. Let's rename this to step 1. Okay, and let's go ahead and install some of these components: the card, field, and the input group. Other things we might not need them, but right now I just go ahead and add this. So I'm just going to say card, Did I say input? Input is already there. The only thing is the input group, and lastly is the field. Just like that, field card field group. Okay. So basically they all have the form they use form. Let's just go ahead and understand this. Normally most people, they don't understand is saying to override the button. We don't want, just say no. Normally people get confused with the forms, but they are really easy. Normally starting with the schema. This is going to be always the first step. Okay, for example, in this step, for our case, in step 1, we just need step 1, welcome and bias the title, and then we just want what is your full name, so it's the name, email, and WhatsApp number. So I just come here and I say, for example, we just want the full name, email, and then you can just come here and then you're like, maybe we just name this as WhatsApp number, just like this. So start with this validation. The minimum of the name user is 3, and you can just say full name must be a list. So you say here full, and you say here name must be at least 3 characters, and then here say 2. You can just leave that, and you just say name name must be at most. And then for this string, we can just give minimum and also maximum, but there is another one which is actually dot, I think, dot email, if I'm not mistaken, like this. Okay, so they're saying the email is something they duplicated. I'm just going to look at this in a second, but I just say email must, so you could just like put also like 3 characters, and we just say mail must be at least 3. We can just leave out the maximum in this case here. Let's just go ahead and check the Zod mail. So just come here and say like Zod email. Actually, we just say duplicated. I can see it here. So Zod.string.email is duplicated in effect for the new top level function Zod.email. Also, you just simply remove this. We just say this without actually the string. Yeah, so you can just say like just do this. You simply now do this, which is, I think, more easier. So duplicated way and the recommended way in Zod 4, you can just like how to do this. So if you want, you can do the pipe. I'm just going to leave it this way. I don't know if you can pass in here you can pass in the error. Let me see. It's always just good if we went like in the documentation. So down here there is the migration guide. You can see the Zod 4. So here you can actually pass in Zod 4, you can pass in the error like this. So that means you can pass in in here, errand say invite email format, maybe something like that. Okay. So we have this as in step 1, and then when you come here, if you want to just say here full name, and then you're like email, and then you're like the WhatsApp number, like this. And down here, of course, we just get the data. Now I do not want to actually use the card for the form. I'm just going to first extract this form here like this. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and extract this outside, and I'm just going to simply for now first put it in a div and just put the form like so. So for the input, this one is going to be full name, and the title is going to be full name. Then the input is placeholder is going to be full name. Okay. Now I don't know if we can just like pass in description. You see, like this is the new way of doing things using this feed group and the controllers they brought. Just going to look at that. They just like go to this second one, which is actually using text area. I don't want the text area. Let me just get this one. So before we go very further, let's first leave in only one. Go back to this here, which actually has an error. Do we have anything here? In the form we have, so this step 1 is having export not default. So just say export default so that we don't have any errors in here. So you can see this is the input. I think it looks fine. I'm just going to go back to this. You can see this one has a bigger input. I'm just going to go here in the step 1. We just go on this input. So we can just say we have this input. Now by default it has height of 9, and it always has sizes. The input looks minimal, actually, more than I expected. But increase on this, we can just like make this 11. Okay, this looks big enough at least. And then we have also the label. So this feed label right now, so you can see that the text, that's how it looks like. So we could give it something. Maybe text MD. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Okay, so what else we could put on the, we have feed label. I don't know if there is like feed description. So below here we could just like add feed. Yeah, there is feed description. And let's say if you just go to our this document, for example, the info that we have here, like explaining what this feed is for. Let's see how this looks like. Okay. So this looks good. I would want maybe to reduce the size of the whole, maybe in this, if we just say max width of 3XL, maybe width is full. Okay, 2XL. Yeah, so you have this, and then put onboarding form. So we can just go ahead and add more fields by simply duplicating this, not the field group, but actually the controller. Okay, by actually putting the controller just like this. So here is going to be email, email address, I don't know if we just need the IDs. We could just remove them, and then I'm just going to see here email address, and the description for this is going to be here. Okay, so you could just add this and just go ahead and replace with that. Okay, next, the last one in this input, still just going to add the controller, and it's going to be the WhatsApp number, and this is going to be WhatsApp number, WhatsApp number, and the description to this is also here. Okay, so now we just need a submit button somewhere, and we could just simply have a dot padding y maybe of 3, and they just have a button, and then just say submit. For now, just say maybe get started. Okay, and then the type, it has to be submit, just like this. Okay, let's give it variant. So we have a variant. We have a lot of variants, but you can just try, for example, the outline pair, just like this. Okay. How about so we have the sunset, ocean, link pair, light pair, default. Okay. Just going to say also the size to be log. And let's try to use the gradient. Okay. You can also just like go ahead and maybe reduce class name. They just say shadow none. Okay, you could just like reduce it like that. So if you just try to click this, you can see that we actually have the validation rules in our first form. We're still missing some few things anyways. The title, let's just go ahead and add those. So for each step is going to have the title, so it would be better if we create something like a reusable component that's going to be putting in the title and the description. So let me just go ahead and look at this, how it is. So you have these two things, the title and the description. So let me just go here and say that we add a div. We're just going to go ahead and get these two things from this side, where we have our typography. So we have, like, for example, h2. Okay, which I have the code here. And then we also have the block quote. Like, by the way, we could just have used this the other side, the block quote. I'm just going to see block quote. I'm just going to use this in the page where we add this paragraph here. Sorry for interruption. As I was recording, there is a missing part. I think it is at 1 hour and 17 minutes. Starting from this, there is some small segment that is missing in between here. So I just want to explain what was this. If you look at what was in previously here, we're working on the form. Let me just try to play this. So you can see that we're working on the form on step 1 form. We had duplicated and we have step 2. So basically what I did in that missing segment is going and creating, after creating step 1, which is here, we had just created this, and we had just only this, I think here, console the data like this. Sorry, I think we had done, and we are consoling the data onto this step 1. So basically what I did the same process for, I paused the video and I created all the 8 following the same steps, because I couldn't create one form to 8 forms. doing exactly the same thing. So basically we just could define the types. Here we define the schema, then we create the form. Later on, these ones, they came in later on in the video, you'll see them, but you just have default values which are empty, email empty, WhatsApp number empty. Okay, so this came in last. So what I did the same process from step 2 to step 8. That is the small missing part that is in between that I'm trying to explain. If you see that gap and then you see me having all the 8 files, don't just, that's what I did. I paused the video a bit and I created all the 8 files. Thank you. You just like continue the video. Okay, so I first paused and worked on all the 8 steps according to how I have them inside my document here. Okay, so you can see I have all the 8 steps here. I have the 8 steps that I was considering. So if you want, I will leave also I will share with this document. I will share with you this document so that you can try them out just for following this video. Yeah, so we have all the 8. I'm just going to, by the way, go to step 1, and there is something that we did not put according to step 1. So what's your name? For us, we added just like full name, but I'm just going to put the question instead. And then the second one is what's your address? So here we just have to do a quick fix. And then the second one here is going to be what's your email address. I'm just going to go ahead and also fix this. Lastly, what is your WhatsApp number? Okay. And you can just go ahead and add this here. So we have all the questions. Okay, so you can see what's your full name, what's your email address, and what's your WhatsApp number. So I have this with get started, and what I want is how do I get to know we are supposed to go to the next step? Okay, we're just going to be, and we could also put the dots. Okay, we could just like put the dots here to show the like which stage you are on. So we could just go and look at this. There is these dots here, so I can just like put them in. Also, I'm just going to call them navigation. So maybe in the component where we have the form, I'm also going to create the navigation dots .tsx rfc. Just going to call them navigation dots. So basically, if I wanted, we could just have like class name, let's just say flex. Let's create a dot. So basically, let's say if you just look at the dot, it's just like a p tag. Let's use a div like of size. These days we can just say her size 12. bg, let's say black for now, and let's say we just do this. These other ones we're just going to just say bg maybe gray 600. Let's just say maybe 500 or 400. Okay, so we just have this. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. You can just go to where we have the let's go to where we have the form. So these are the steps where we have the onboarding form. So you could just go to the page, and below the form we could just add the padding y, maybe let's say of 3, and then we can just have the navigation dots just like this. Let's see how this looks like. Okay, that's how they look like. So just go here and we say first of all gap of maybe 4. So this size, let's reduce on this size to size maybe 8. Rounded full. Okay, that's still big. I'm just going to say flex items center, justify center. Still this, I'm just going to add, let's add 4. Yeah, so this is good. We could just like maybe make these ones 300. Yeah, so like this is the current one. I could just also give them like cursor pointer, at least to look like they can be clickable. We could just decide to make them clickable, or we can just leave, because of this validation, we can just like leave them not to make them clickable. So now, how do we know which step we are on? That's why we now start with the state management. One, we want to manage the steps. So they just first go to what we are going to use. Let me just go back here. So we just want to manage what? State management. So we just want to manage the steps. Okay. So a person should be able to move step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And we're just going to use based on these steps to know the current step, and then we render the form for that specific space. Okay? Then the next thing that we want to do is, of course, the data. Okay? We want to maintain or to keep state for all the data we have. So all this data will of course go to maybe to the survey. Let's just say we just say survey, and this survey is going to be having all that information. So we're just going to say the survey data. Okay, and this survey data is coming from each individual form. Each keeps on adding like that. Then next is let's say what else do we want to keep state? I think that's the two things, the data and the steps. Let's start with the easy one, the steps. So let's say I'm just going to go to jb.desktop.com, go to blogs, and let's scroll down to where we have simple store. it is here, simple store, the state management library for React. Just click on this, and you can just look at read the documentation. I wrote more about it. Why switch to simple store, the problem it solves. So like here, you have to define types upfront for your stores, collocate actions inside the store, write verbose set functions, and then so the simple store is created between Zustand and Jotai, and then you have also Redux, so you can just read and look at the comparison. I'm just going to go to the installation, so I'm just going to go ahead and npm add simple store. Now there is actually a problem, I think, with the version, but let me first go with this one. Okay, just going to first add this, and I will look at the version that has been installed. So you can see the version is 0.7, which is good. So how do we use this? So if you just go down here to core concepts, is one, creating the core concepts. Before we dive into the real world examples, let's understand the core concept. So the core concept would be, you create the store like this. Okay, you can create the store as simple as this, and if it is for object, you can create the store like this. Okay, so for example, we can just go ahead and keep create the store for this. Let me just go ahead and create my store. We can create outside the wherever I want. I'm just going to go here and I just say store, and in the store, let's create for the, maybe we just call this survey.ts, and I'm just going to go ahead and since we have already installed that, we can just like simply say, for example, we name this one as the steps store. Okay, and just going to import store. Make sure that you import store from simple store. So if you just go here, you have to import store from simple store. I'm just going to go up here and import the store like this. So we can just say set steps store is equal store, and let's start with 0. This is going to be a number. You're just going to set it at step 1 actually. So we have this, and this is it. You have created the store. Okay, and let's go to the second one, storing objects. I can store the objects, and we can just say, for example, this is going to be now the survey data, right? So this is the survey data like this, and we can actually save it in terms of if wanted, we could just go to step 1. I could just say right away I save it using these keys. There you see preferences like this. I can just also just like save them direct, all of them, whichever you find easy is what you do. Okay, whatever you find easy is what you do. So we can just like save the say name, email, and password. So I don't know if it is good that since we're going to look at this, let me just like do something that is really nice. Let's say this is going to be step 1. Either we could just use steps or I use their names. Let's just say here, for example, step. Just use okay, step 1. And the step 1, let's say, is going to be having the name, email, and WhatsApp. WhatsApp number, just like this. And this email is going to be, let's say, I start with empty values like this. Okay, let's put some values actually. So I'm just going to say name mukjb, email is going to be jb at thisishub.com, and I'm just going to say here this is 0762063160. so this is where the actual work starts from. So we have this step and we have this. Like, this is how you create the store, guys. Like, that's it. The reading values. So if you want to read the values, you now use .get. Okay, and you can actually read values. So you just say read the step. So I'm just going to go here. We have this as step store. So to get the step store, you can just say let's go to the like the steps in the form are here. So this one is going to eventually become a client, a use client. So you can just come here and you say let's read this, and I'm just going to say const the step maybe is actually equal to the step store dot, maybe we just go ahead and export this in the store. Let me just go to the store. What if we actually export this and even this? Let's go to the form and we can just say this, and what went wrong here? Okay, so you're just going to go here and import .get. So you can just say .get, and do we need to pass in anything or just say .get? And we can just say console.log the step. Like, if there is anything I've ever seen that is very easy to use, is this one. Let me just go to my step, go to console, and where is the step? And you can see here, I'm just going to say here the current step. Okay, let's just go to this step store, and let me just say right now 3. Go back, and you can see right now it is 3. Okay, so it means we can just like really change. And how do you modify a value? So if you go back the simple store, you can subscribe to changes by using useStore like this. If you want to get the name, so this is how you read the values. But if you want to change or to update, you can actually use this set. Okay, you can just say name store dot set, and you can just like set like that, selecting parts of the store. This is the most one I like. So for example, if you wanted to get this theme, you can just do this dot preferences, then dot select this. So if we set, as you can see that in this, we can select values in this. So user store, just leave it as user store for simplicity. I'm just going to go back to step 1. So if I just go to, for example, step 1. So first of all, I can just import the store and read the values. So you can just say const, for example, data is equal to, let's just say user store dot select. So you can just see there's the dot get and then there's dot select. So you can just say dot select, and if you do this, you see that you have step 1 and now dot get. So you can just say dot get. Let's go ahead and console.log the console.log data, and this is in a step 1. So if I go back here, you see that we actually have the data in that. Okay, which is really great. And if you hover here, you said all the types are actually going through. Like, dude, this is really good. So now if I just go back to the to the store, to the documentation. The same thing you can now, so you have the theme store. After selecting the, like you select the preferences and then to select the theme. If you remember, we had this, and then you can select the theme. So you can set now the theme. You can just say theme store dot set, and then you can pass in like you can just go ahead and set in the new values. Now let me just like say, for example, on submit. So this, we selected step 1. So if I just come here and say, for example, that on submit, let's say we just say, so this is step 1 data, right? We could just say call this one as step 1 data, step 1 store, just like that. And we can just go on the step 1 store dot. So you need to subscribe to this, because you see you can select this. So you can, I don't know if I thought I could set individual all of it. So if I don't select, if I select, for example, dot get, just like this, just a second. Or if I just select only this, I stop on select, and now I just want to say dot, and now you can see you have set. So if you say set and we pass in data, so if you hover here, they're saying that is missing the following properties. WhatsApp number, maybe the, so if you look at this data, it has WhatsApp, it has full name, email. Let's go ahead in this store and we look at the data we have. Oh, okay. We need to make sure that our data is matching. So I'm just going to go in this. We have full name, WhatsApp. Let me fix this by just using WhatsApp like this. I don't know if this is the correct one. And then you can just go to here and you fix this like so. And in this also. Okay, so this is step store, of course. Step 1 store. And then here, if I comment this, okay. So we have this. I'm just going to, if you just go on the data, we have full name. So I just want to go first to this, to the store. Let's change this to full name. Email, WhatsApp, like this. Let's go back to step 1. So now you can see we can set this, and now we can also update the step. So let's just say here, we say we could just select the step store. So here we could just say now steps store is equal to step store dot, so this one, actually this one you don't even to do select, so you could just simply select it here and we say step store dot, and we could just say dot set already. And then we could just say the current step, so we could just get the current one. Okay, you could just say const current step is going to be equal to stop store step store dot get, like this. So this gives us a current one. So here we could just set I can see that you can set in, I think it can take in a number. I don't know. If we just say, can it just like say current, and then you're like current plus 1? Yeah, I guess so. So that means like we don't need this. Okay, let's just go with this one, see. So basically that's me trying to see how I can update this. I'm just going to go ahead and clear all this. So you're just going to fill in some details here using this, and just going to say 07 8414387 So we can also toast like say updated successfully. So toast from sooner dot toast dot success, and we can just say maybe data updated successfully, just like this. And you can just go ahead and clear. This is step 1 line 59. Let's look at step 1 line 59. Oh, okay, so like this is not a value. I'm just going to go ahead and click on submit. So you can see that I updated successfully. And if you look at this now, step 1 line 60, this is the data that has been corrected, this one, and then it has been set into this one. So I want to believe right now, if I go and console.log the current state. So let's go to the form, and we are just like consoling the current state somewhere. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to go to onboarding form. I don't know. So right now, if we just go, you see that the current step is 3. So if we change this information, I'm just going to add in some figure here. And let's click on this. So we don't know if the step has been updated. So if I just say subscribing to events as we get them, like if you want, I think, to get the current one as it changes, maybe there we just need to use something else. That is why they said you can subscribe direct value. Oh, you can see even this one. Then there is subscribed changes, so you can just use this. Use store value Okay, so if I just do this, use store value, can we import this? Use store value. I don't know. From simple, this was see here. Okay, we can just go to actual documentation of simple store. Installation and usage. So you can just store this with even the pages and everything. So you can select the parts which you have seen, and then you can just say use store value. So the use store value, this is how you get it. So we can pass it now of the steps store like this. Do you pass in? I think just simply import of it. Okay. So this is not. You just say steps store, just like this. And now I think we subscribe to the current value of store. Okay, I think we subscribe to the new value of the store. Let me just go ahead and fill in 84,43872. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this value. So you can see that the current store actually updates. Okay, so that's good. Just gets the current store, which is 3 plus 1. Okay, so with that, we're just going to use step store. We're just going to start from 1. And then we just go back to the form, and we're just going to render based on that. So we could just have a function. We could write here all these like this, or we could just like have a function which says render. We could just have a function which says function, which is the same thing, I think. Render step like this. Okay. Which is also going to do the if statement. But just say this, and just pass in the step, which is going to be a number. Okay, function, and we just start writing the if statement here within this. Something is not right. Function render step. Okay, so you can just say if step, we could just say if step is equal to, if step is equal to 1, then we could just go ahead and just say return, and then we could just go ahead and return step 1 here like this. Else if step is equal to 2, then we can just go ahead and return, and just going to return step 2, just like this. Return step 2 like this. This is going to be if step, and then we just say else if step is equal to 3, and you just return step 3. I'll just go here, return step 3. So I'm just going to do this for all the steps. So you say else if step is equal to 4, just going to say return. I'm just going to go ahead and return step 4. You could also use the case, and you say case, but they are the same. Step is equal to 5. Then just going to say return step 5. Then you say else if step is equal to 6. Just you can say return step 6. And yes, here else if step is equal to 7. Then you say else if say return step 7. And lastly, and you can say else return step 8, like this. And then here we just come here and we say in here we call the render step, and we pass in the step or the current step, like this. So now we're just rendering based on the current step. If you want to believe that that's what we are doing right now, we're just going to go and fill in the data. Just going to do fake fill, and let's fill in this. I changed it. Okay, I'm just going to say this. So you can see that this actually has changed. Okay, the step has changed, and so you can also just like base on this to make these ones active based on the step that is currently on. So we can just use this as the current step, and let's pass this in this. Let's go to the navigation, and we can just go ahead and get the also this in the navigation, like this. We can import the store value, and we also import the step. So you can just get the current step like this. So the question is, how do we do the this whole entire thing? Because the one that is active, okay, I think we're just going to use index here because they are all the same. So if they are all the same, we could actually just say one. We could just take the total steps if we wanted. In this case, there are 8. So we could just create an array. So we could just say this. And we could just say there's a function which is array.from. How does array from works? Let me just go and see array from. let's just say array from. So if you had just this, so array dot from, and then you pass in an array, expected output. Okay, so we can pass in array from, and we pass in this like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 like this. So whatever you get back here is an array, so you can just say dot, and then you say dot map, and we just have access to the item and the index. So we have access to the item and the index, and you can just say return, and we just want to return this div. I'm just going to copy this, and let's return this div like this. So first of all is going to be the key, so the key is going to be the index. Okay, so this is going to create 8 balls, I believe. So the only thing is to know which one is active. So to calculate the active one, so you could just say const is active, because our index will start from 0. Okay, so you just say is active is going to be equal to if the current step is equal to index I think +1, and then here we just go ahead and say okay, so this actually this here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this or copy this, and okay, let me just do this, cut this, and I'll just say cn, and I will just first pass in the default value, so I'll just say this and pass in this. In this case, I don't want this to be the default value. I want the default value to be bg gray 300, and when is active, so you can say comma, and we say is active. Then if that is true, then you can say and, then we pass in bg black. What is changing only is the, I think is the bg, the size remain the same and everything. So if I just go here and I remove this, I should have it working. It's saying uses synchronous storage only works in the, okay. So first to make this one to be a use client, use client, just like this. Okay, so in the step 1, just going to be in the step 1, and just going to say fill in from here 6 7 8 4 1 4 3. So just click this, and we expect this to change. So you can see this is on 2, and even the step that we are currently on, this changes to actually step 2. which is now us managing the step. From the step, we just like using this. So we just need to go ahead and add in all the information for all these states inside the simple store. The only one problem I just want to know is if I want to persist the data. So if I don't know if this data is already persisted or not. Okay, I don't think this data is persisted yet. Let's look at the documentation. If you can, so you can just have the counter, and this is how you can just do this. So we have already seen the use store value, which gives you the actual changing. So like here, this does not show how to, but I just go to my documentation and see if we can just see, like, for example, in the cart. So defining the cart store like this, and I just want to know if you can persist the data, for example. Okay, I think for persisting data, then we are going to use the local storage. I think for that case, we might just need to use the local storage for that case. Let's first just wire that later. Let's first go ahead and add the small stores for all these steps. So if we just go to step 2, step 2, yes, on now step 3, no, step 2 actually. I just want to look at this. So you can just go ahead and store this. Okay, just go this, and let's go to where we have the survey, and you can just put comma, and you say step 2, and you can just go ahead and add this. So in this case, even here, you just want to add the default values. Just like this. Okay, you don't just want to add any data. Okay, so if you wanted, you could add all this information alone, all of it, but I'm just like, if I wanted to get only for step 2, it is very easy to get step 2 instead of getting everything. So we can just go now and we do for step 3, step 4, and step 5, 8. I've created this all the steps, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like this. Now step 8, I don't know if in 8 there is data, but in 8 there is no any data. In the step 8, it's just like the page that is having just having the thank you message after you have filled in the form. So step 8 has no data, so that's why we are stopping on 7. So you can see I've stored them like this, but as I've said, you could distribute them and they are all in one thing, in one object, but I've separated them just to easily get them. So I'm just going to go now and add them in the store one by one. So just go to step 2. So if you remember, we want step 1, and how we did this, by going here and we get the stop 1 store, which is done like this, and then we simply say step 1 store, and then we set the data, we set the store to store +1, and then we do the toast, which takes us to the next page. Now one thing that we need to do, I think let's first finish that. I'm just going to go to here, to this, copy this because this is more. I'll go to the step, this is step 1, I'll go to step 2, inside the submit in here, just simply paste in this. Now we're just going to go here and we say const step 2 store is going to be equal to, so we can just say user store user store dot select, and we can dot select, so you can just select the user store, and in this and this we can select step 2 like this, and then now we can just use step 2. We just say step 2 store dot set data like this, and then for this we need to get also the step store. So to get the step store, we can just say const steps store. Oh, actually we don't need to actually get this, we just simply get it direct by importing it. Just import it like this, and then also the toast like that. So we do the same thing to step this is step what? Step 2. I'm just going to do this to step 3, then I will again do the same thing. So here I'm just going to do this. So just need to create the step 3 store. Const step 3 store is equal to, I'm just going to say you get the user store dot set dot select, and then from this you can just say step 3 store dot set data. So here you're supposed to select actually the store you want. This is step 3. Okay, just get 3 and dot set data. Something is not matching. I think it's because of this type string arrays don't send it the just never. So for that case, in our in this user store where we have this, we can just like pass in this. Okay, we can just go ahead and pass in this. This should just be able to fix it. Yep. And then we can just also call this, and then also the toast. So good. So I'm just going to do this for the rest of the stores. Now for step 7, this is where we actually so I filled in all other steps. Now I'm on step 7, which is the same thing. I paste in this, and then I come here. First of all, I create const step 7 store is equal to user store dot select, and I'm just going to select step 7, right? And then down here I'm just going to go ahead and get the store step 7 store, and then I'm just going to go ahead and set this and toast. Now this actually 7 store is something is not right. Incompatible type string undefined is not to this, undefined is not assignable type string. So if you look at this from schema, I don't know, I think one is supposed to be nullable or something. I don't know why, because they all have this. You can just go to this store, user store, step 7. This, if you hover here, they all have strings. Now in this side, if I went to this, you can see that the additional information is string or undefined. I don't know how that one supposed to get it, but let me just first go ahead and leave that. It is here where we have additional. It has this dot optional, and if you look at this, this gives you string or undefined. So I don't know how to pass in those types in this user store, because now in here, so you could just say here we pass in, like, I think undefined. Does that count? Type additional, type string, or this is not to this. Okay. So how do I pass in that? Just pass. I cannot pass in this. For now, let me just like leave it like this. I will fix this one. But this is it. The problem is that after this, we need to console.log all the details. Okay, that means I think I need to get the data for the use store. So after this, okay, after this, I have to say const store data. So I'm just going to say store data is going to equal to, so you could just use store value, and then we pass in the user store like that. And then what I just want is to also console.log. Actually, instead of this, I just want to console.log the store data. So I'm just going to say here store data is going to be this store data. So like this should just give us everything in the store, including the new data. So if you just go back here, let's try to fill in now. Going forward, just going to go here and do this 784143872 next. So this goes to the next step 2, as you can see there. Let's go ahead and select the country and just going to say Uganda. How many hours do you spend coding daily? I'm just going to say for now I always do 5, let's say 5 to 6. What's your current primary occupation? I'm just going to say maybe business or employed, and then continue, and you can see it is on 3. What do you need most right now? Let's just say personal mentor. What's your main goal for the next 6 months? I'm just going to land my first tech job, and this one is first quality learning resources. So here I'm just going to put like I'm an expert, a Go developer, next. And then here, which courses do you interest you? I'm just going to say, okay, just going to start from man, this, and this. How do you prefer to learn? Live sessions, next. And let's say under, and let's say this one under, and let's say are you subscribed? I'm just going to say yes, next. And now finally we just go here. I had you from YouTube immediately. Let's say this was nice. This was nice, like this, and let's submit. So if we just go to the this. I want to look at this, the data that was consoled at this point. Step 8, I'm not seeing the object is here, which is I'm not sure from where. Another object is here. Actually, the store data is here actually. So this final one. So you can see we have all the step 5, 4, 1, 7, 6, and this. And you can see 7 is not yet actually updated. So you can just say step 7 in the store data is actually not there. So how do we update the store and then get the for store 7? Because right now we are on this final step, which is actually the last one. So I don't know how do we update store 7, because right now what we did, is it because of this one? I'm not sure if it is because of the error. Okay, because of this. For now, let me just actually go ahead and make it required. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and make it required here. Instead of this, I'm just going to pass in this minimum. Okay, I'm just going to say this, and additional information, I'm just going to say please provide additional info, just like this. Not sure for this if we have the error for start time, additional information, we have the field error. Okay, nice. So I'm not sure if that was the reason why it didn't update. Just going to, we have to try one more time to make sure that that was the problem, because after adding that, we don't have any problems right now. Okay, we don't have any problems. So here we have the store value. So here we have the step 7. And then here we are setting store 7 set data. We increment, and then this. The problem is, I think like this, if it is getting the real value, because we cannot put the submission now in the other one. It has to be in actually this one. Now, one thing that we have to do is, if you just noticed, is these buttons. Okay, so these down ones, I'm just going to actually create these buttons. I'm just going to create this as a component. Okay, just going to create this as a component so that it is very easy. So I'm just going to call these ones navigation buttons. I'm just going to copy this. And let's go to steps inside here, components. I'm just going to say like these are navigation buttons. .tsx rfc, and then let's go ahead and bring in these ones. Let's first get the button, and so this is going to take in a step, actually, also the current step, okay, which is going to be a number. I just put this like so. Current save as a number, just like this. So we just need to be, there would have to be two buttons, the next button and the previous one. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this. So this one has to be the previous, and this has to be next. Okay. So first of all, if, so just going to make some title here. So I'm just going to say const. Title is going to be determined over the step. So if it is step number 1, just going to say if the current step is equal to, is equal to 1, if this is true, then title is going to be get started. Get started. Else if current step, okay, if current step is equal to 7, because 7 is just like before the final one. So if it is equal to 7, I'm just going to say if this is true, then if this is true, then the title is going to be submit. Okay. Submit. And so this is going to be maybe the next title. The next title. Get started, previous, submit, and then this is going to be, else is going to be, I think, next. And we're just going to come here and I add it where there is this. I'm just going to say this is the next title. Now for the previous is going to be, I think, first of all, just do this. Prev, just going to say const. This is going to be previous step, prev title maybe. Okay. Const previous title. Is equal if the current step. So just go and check if the current step. Now for this one, actually there is no step 1. If the step 1, this is not supposed to be there. Okay, so you just come here and you're like, this is not going to be there. It's going to be there only if current step is greater than 1. And just this. If it is greater than 1, then to be there. Yeah. And then for this next, we can just maybe say we can just like leave it like that. For this one, the step 1 is not going to be there. Step 7, I don't think for this one has to, you know, so what does this on click do? Because that's the most important part, right? So this is going to be accessing the current step. So you can just say on click. Okay, just going to create a function which needs to access the the steps store dot set, and this can access actually the current, and then this is going to be current minus 1, and this is going to be, since this one is going to be doing submit, we don't need to even add this. The only type button this one is going to be the type, we just say type here, and this is type button, and this is type submit, previous. I think that's it. And the only thing is we just need to change a variant. So here I'm just going to use the light peer. I'm just going to use the light peer like this. And let's go ahead and add these navigation buttons to all the forms. Let's go and start from here. Okay. So I just go ahead and remove this. So I'm supposed to put navigation. Navigation. Buttons. So this one's supposed to take in the current step, which we don't need to. We're just going to say, we come here and we say, for example, const current state. We can just get actually the current state. So const current state is going to be equal to use store value. Is it use store value? Use store value, and then we pass in the steps store like this, and this gives us the current step in real time, I guess. So now if we just go back to the navigation buttons in the step 2 here, let's go to step 3. Import this. Just going to move in order the way they are arranged. Then 7. Then 1. Then 4. Then it's going to have 5, which is the last one. Okay, so if right now we go back now for testing, so we go back on step 1, and you can see it is only 1 with this title. Just going to go ahead and fill in this data 07841438872. I think let's still go here and look at the data. So click next. Okay, so we have now the 2 buttons, which is good. Only that we just need to use flex justify between items center, and maybe we should set the width, but this is okay. So we can just go ahead and select at random. Just going to go ahead and fill at random for now. I'll not mind. Okay. I'll not mind. Okay, and then I will just fill in these last ones. Okay. Thanks. Okay, just go here, move everything, and let's submit. So you can see it has previous and submit. And if I say submit, I get the step 8 and okay, so we still have a problem. Step 7, by the time we get all the information, step 7 is not subscribed. As you can see here, step 7 is not subscribed. So the question is, how are we going to subscribe to it? So I've thought of some ideas. The first one is using the user store dot get this one. The second one, so that means I can save this as I can use that as store data. So you can say const store data is equal to this, and I remove this, and let's say still we just say get the store data. So you can just like do this, or I just want to see the second approach. So the second approach is let's first see the first one. If it fails, then we're just going to go with that, see if the second one can actually do this. Okay, if you just go back and I don't know, it refreshed. I'm not sure if it's still consoling after refreshing or before refreshing. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in very fast. Okay. You can just go ahead and you can just go ahead and fill in like really fast. Okay. Okay, so you can just go here. And next, then here and here, next, and then we have this, this, and thanks. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and clear everything and click submit. Okay, so here we have, yeah, so we have step 7, which actually it is having the data. So the next thing now is to save this data in the database, all this information in the DB, which is by just like say, we could just like get this information the way it is, and then we destructure it. Okay, we could just go ahead and destructure this. So if I just say const payload is equal to, and I just going to create an object, I will destructure store data dot step step 1, okay, comma, so I'm just going to go 2 3 4 5 6 7. So I'm just going to go here, 2, okay, this is going to be 3, it's going to be 4, it's going to be 5, it's going to be 6, and this is going to be 7, and this, yeah, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I think those are like the 7. I'm just going to go ahead and console log the payload. So if you just console log the payload, you should now get the data that is not in the form format, but the one that is destructured. Okay, so yeah, I need to create the model. So I'm just going to say in the schema, okay, I'm just going to create another model in here. I'm just going to do this, and let's go ahead and do, I'm just going to call this survey, or maybe user surveys, or we just call this a submission. I don't know. Okay, we could just go ahead and just call this submission, and I'm just going to get the data from the store. So what I just need is all this. Just going to go ahead and copy everything, go back in the schema, and I'm just going to go ahead and add it in between here. So we'll first get these ones here from the first. I'm just going to say this, which is a string, which is also a string. I'll not make anything unique, as this is a survey, because someone might submit 2 times or even whatever. Then this, anyways, I'm just going to make this unique. Someone submit only 1 time, but yes, might just not be able maybe to capture errors. So I'm just going to get this. First, let's remove them from these objects. Okay, just like that, like that, and then even this, step 6, and then step 7 like this. Just going to copy this string. Just going to start from down here, additional info. So if you remember for this, I can just say Control F and Control H and replace it with string like that. And now for this array is going to be actually string array. Remove this. The same thing with this one, which is going to be string array, just like that. Now for this one, additional information, you can just like leave it. So this is the submission. One single submission will get all this information. Okay, so the next thing is to go ahead and push this. So I'm just going to go ahead, clear. Actually, this need is to go ahead and stop the server. Clear. Just going to say npx Prisma db push and npx Prisma generate and pnpm dev. So I just want to run all these commands. So as it is running these, I just know they are going to go through. Just need to go and create. I'll just create only just a one for create. Inside where my submissions, I just want to create where you can store my submissions. So if you remember in the lib, we have countries. By the way, all the countries are here. I just want to go to controllers, actions. I'm just going to add this. I'm just going to create submissions. Submissions.ts. I'm just going to say this is going to be use server. I'm just going to go ahead and copy here one function just for simplicity, just like this, and I'm just going to paste it here. So down here, I'm just going to go ahead and say create submission. Now type of this here, I could use actually Prisma. So here we have even Prisma. I'm not sure if this comes from the browser, but this Prisma now comes with, like for example, submission, and you can just say submission create import, just like this. So if you hover here, you see that it accepts everything. Okay, it accepts everything from here. And now we could just go ahead and find. I'm just going to go ahead and find somewhere. Where I would want to check. I would just check if there is an existing, and I would just go ahead and just say db. Okay, I'll wait. db.submission. Okay, first get the db dot submission dot find unique, and we just say where. Here just going to say email is going to be data dot email, something like this, and you just say if existing. So you just say if existing, then here just going to go ahead and return the same thing here. This one, just going to do this. I simply return. Now the message is going to be, you have already submitted. You have already submitted. Okay. Then if it is not, then we just go ahead and create. So you can just go here and new, I just await. We could just also just select console log the submission, sub, and it's going to be submission.create data. Okay, and then revalidate path. Let's go ahead and get this, and we say application submitted successfully. Okay, other things like sending emails, failed to submit. Yes, say here, try again, just like that. Okay, so now we need to create this, get this. I'm just going to go to step 7 where we have this. So we could just go to the category form and simply get what was happening here, like this result and everything. So just going to copy this, and the schema, sorry, step 7. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste this here. First, this is going to be create submission, and on submit, this is going to be now an async. Just going to create the loading. So you say const loading, then set loading is equal to use state. Use state, I'm just going to say false. Okay, so this is going to pass in the payload, and if everything is successful, we actually reset, which is going to be form.reset. We don't have this. Okay, if there is this, we still toast. Now that means like here we have to optionally pass in the loading. So in this navigation, I'm just going to say optionally is loading, which is equal to actually loading, just like this. Now this is loading is going to be something that is going to be optional. So is loading. So first of all, by default is going to be false, and here's going to be a boolean. Is loading is a boolean, and now we're just going to say this is not required actually, to avoid these errors. And if it is there, when it is loading, we can just go ahead and pass it in here. So the disabled is going to be equal is loading, and if it is loading, we're just going to change also the text here, changes something. We could just say if it is loading on this, is loading. If this is true, we're just going to say submitting. Submitting, just like this, and else. So else, we just simply pass in the next title, just like this. And we can also just like put the icon. We just say if is loading. I'm just also going to say icon of, just say use, I could just use loader. With a class name of spin, animate spin, just like this. Okay, so this should just like basically save data. I don't know what's going on right now. Okay, the server is, oh, the server started again. So this is going to be the final one. Let's go ahead and feed in the some data at least before we 4372, just like this. I just want to go ahead and feed in any information, doesn't matter. Okay, I don't know if previous works, by the way. Didn't notice previous. Okay, the problem is now previous goes when you go previous, you don't have the data that you had previously, which is a pain. I think we're just going to save that one last. Let me just go here and I fill in. We'll see how to add that and before we deploy, I guess. So I'm just going to go that and this and then this. I'm just going to go now this and then this, and then this. Just going to add this and this. Okay, then finally I'm just going to say thanks. So now here is what we want, just like to go ahead. Now before we finish, because we would want the submission to happen, but it's going to go ahead and go. So if we just go to step 7, I think it would be nice if we went step 7 before we actually move, because before we just set this, we can set this, but before we set this to change the store, I'm just going to leave this. We need to first when it is successful. Okay, only when it is successful and it has also toasted, that's when we need that to happen. So I'm just going to go ahead and submit. Now I don't know if it's said, but application submitted successfully. I don't know if that oh, okay, well, I think we did not pass in the, yeah, so this created successfully, you can see here. So one thing that we can just do is passing in the step 7. This is why we need to pass in the is loading, and for some reason it did not work. Let's see how we are using it, because here we are saying that the current step, and we are saying if it's loading. Basically, I didn't even change the icon. Did this change? I'm not sure if the is loading changed, because I'm not sure. The only thing I want to test right now is if you are going back. Okay, if someone says, maybe you could just say try again, like we don't just need them to try again anyways. But yeah, what I would just want to do maybe right now is pass in the initial data in all forms for step, more especially for step 6 and below. So we know we can actually have the data because we have the step 6 and we are selecting the this. So if we wanted to fill in the default values, that means that we could just say const. So this one is the store 6 data will be equal to so I think here we need to subscribe, or we could just say store, we could just say user store dot select, and here we just select step 6 in this case, and then we say dot get like this, and this should just be getting us like the whole entire data for step 6 store data. So if we just came here and we say default values, let me say here, if I say step 6 store data dot, and I say one time investment or this. So basically this is what I want to pass in everything. Okay, so before I just go ahead, I'm just going to say this is one-time investment, this is the monthly payment. So what we, before we just go with that, we just need to check this. If this works, then we're just going to do this for the whole entire place. Just going to go ahead and do this. Okay, just going to go ahead and fill in again, and just going to fill in here 762.063.160. Okay, so I'm just going to go here. Okay, just going to go next. Okay, and just go next. And then just next. Thanks. And just going to go here and here. Sorry, I'm just going to go here. So before we click submit, remember this is where we're supposed to have the loading spinner. For some reason that didn't work, because right now you said we have false. This must be coming from somewhere. Let's go and submit. Okay, the submission works, but still the loading spinner didn't work, which we can fix later. Oh, I didn't test. Oh my god, I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to go back. What I'm just going to do right now, I just want to run a build and deploy this. Okay, just want to run a build and deploy this. Just going to go ahead and clear. So npm build, so just like this. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and run this. Meanwhile, I'm just going to go ahead and also remove. So if you just go in the app, we should first remove the, go to the app. Let's remove this .git because this one is for the other old one. Just going to go ahead and delete this. Is it because it's just like running? Maybe we just wait for it. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new repo on my GitHub. I'm just going to go ahead and deploy this. Repositories new. Just going, this is going to be, this is online. This is online, just like this. This is going to be a private repo, and let's create. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy from git commit. Okay, so we can just go ahead and remove, first of all, here you can see this went through very well. Just going to go ahead and clear. So every time you see this main, it means that actually it is this, it is still main there. So I'm just going to say remove, then if.git. I'm just going to do this. So you can see that the .git was removed, and now we don't have anything. So you can just say git init and git add dot, and then you can just like paste all these. I'm also just going to go ahead and copy the my database URL. Go refresh here. I'm just going to go on my Versailles to deploy this. So I'm just going to go to Versailles, and this time I'm just going to use the hub team to deploy this. I'm just going to go new project, hub online, and then you just go ahead and put the environmental variables, and let's deploy. Okay, so meanwhile, as it is deploying, we can just go ahead and, you know, you go to all other steps. So like the way we did in step 6, you can just go here, and I do step 5. Where is step 5? So we can just start from step 5. I'm just going to go here, step 5, before here, like this. So just say step 5, and then you're just going to pass in step 5, like this. Step 5, store data, and in the default values, we're just going to have, I'm just going to say this, step 5 store data dot course interests, and then this one is also going to be step 5 data dot learning. I'm just going to do this for step 4. So step 4, I'm just going to go here and paste this. Oh my god, so just going to say const, this is going to be 4, which is going to be use store value. Is it use store value, or let me just, not thinking right now, just going to go ahead and copy this. Okay, this is going to be step 4 dot get. Okay, and then you just come here and you just have step dot skill level, like that. Let's go 3, 2, 1. Okay, so just going to go here on top. This is going to be now 3, and even here is going to be step 3. So you see how selecting becomes very easy. So just going to say step 3 store data dot needs, and then this is going to be step 3 store data dot main goal. Lastly to this, step 3 store data dot biggest challenge, just like that. And let's go to 2, and we just finally go to 1. So this is going to be here, this is going to be step 2, and then even here is going to be step 2, and then you have these values going to be step 2 store data dot country, and then you have here the step 2 dot coding hours, and finally this step 2 dot occupation. And finally just on step 1, okay, so I'm just going to go here, step 1, so this is going to be step 1, and even here is going to be step 1, and then you can just go here, step 1 store data dot full name, then here step 1 dot email, and finally step 1 store data dot WhatsApp number. So with that, I'm just also going to go ahead and run git add and git commit. Just say added persisting previous step. Anyways, we don't know if it has worked or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and push this. Finally, just going to go and check this actually went through. So just continue to that dashboard, and you can just go this up online, and you have this nice form. Okay. So of course I'll be updating it to look much better, but this is really cool. Okay. So yeah, if you have just enjoyed this video, please go ahead and like the video, comment and share it with others. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one.